All right, today guys, working on my wife's 2015 Chevy Suburban. Got the condenser leak. I don't know if you can see it through here, but that's where it leaks. It's up in the, usually in the grill on the driver's side. You'll see like a wet spot on the condenser. So the first thing you gotta do is take off the plastic shroud. Already took out the clips for it. Throw that on the ground. Then you'll pop off this sensor here. Pops off there, and there's a plastic clip in here. Undo that, tuck it out of the way. You'll disconnect here, push down, pull out. Same thing on this side. Then you loosen that there. And you can loosen this one here. And then you just pop this off. All that does is give you a little extra room. Next thing you do is you grab the air box and you pull on it. Pops right out. Then we've got a 13 millimeter here, a 13 millimeter here. Take those out, and I'll do that next step and get back with y'all here in a second. Put these somewhere special. They hold the entire car together. Lean the condenser and the radiator back like that. That'll give you just enough room to get in there. Pop all the plastic shrouds off. Yeah, look, here we go. See it real good right there. That was the leak. Alright, now there's two clips you gotta undo. This top one here, this is for your transmission cooler, secondary cooler, and then there's one right here. You need a little pick tool. You'll move this plastic piece back, and there'll be a metal keeper underneath there. Got one clip off there. Just kind of take your pick tool, come over here to the other side. Kind of grab it, just push it down, and don't drop it. All right, set that one aside. Next part, get a little messy. You just kind of wiggle these lines until they come out. You have a little bit of transmission fluid spilling out. Not too bad. If you feel like you can get a rag. Next step, there's a clip right here. That's what your condenser sits in. Just get a screwdriver, push down on that clip, your whole condenser will come free. You do that same thing on the other side. them around. All right, next step to this part, draining the refrigerant system. Take your low side, your high side cap off. Grab your gauges right here. Hook up your low side to your low side. And your high side to your high side. Go ahead and open the valve. And you go ahead and drain this to the appropriate location. It's definitely not to the atmosphere. So this is kind of what holds it in on the passenger side. There's a nut. It goes right in here to the radiator and to a little bracket that holds on to your low pressure, your high pressure lines coming in and out of the condenser. All right, guys, the next thing you gotta crack loose is your lines. They are right there. That's a 13 millimeter. So the only two sockets I've used so far, 10 millimeter, 13 millimeter, and a screwdriver. Not a socket, but pretty much the only three tools I've used. And where that is in relation, it's down the passenger side at the bottom here, right kind of there where my finger's wiggling. I'll go ahead and get that off, and then I'll show y'all the new condenser that I got from Rock Auto. Guys, Freon has been drained to the appropriate location, and we have cracked down our connection down here on the bottom of the evaporator. You just kind of give it a little wiggle and pull it out nice and slow. Make sure you don't get any trash in there. Tuck that one up right there, if it'll stay. That ain't gonna stay. Pull your other one off. Make sure you don't try not to get anything in these, any dirt or any trash. I'm gonna hold those real quick. And the next thing you do, pretty much just pull this sucker right out of here. Kind of work it around. Look at that. Came out seamless. Alright, so we'll have to take those plastic pieces off of there. That was the leak right there. Right here, guys. It cracks in that weld, and this is fairly common on GM vehicles and should be illegal. But we'll pop these plastic pieces off. We'll get them transferred over to the new condenser. Let me show y'all that part number. I got a GPD from Rock Auto. It's about 65 bucks. Came in 2 or 3 days. First one was kind of beat up, so I sent it back. Got another one. But that's it right there. I checked this one today, made sure it wasn't beat up, and it looks good. So we're gonna get ready to put this thing back in and show you all the next step once I get it in. All right, guys, I got the new one back in. Got it bolted up down here, the high and the low side into the condenser. I got it tightened up nice and snug. I did not change any gaskets or O-rings on it. Maybe that'll bite me later in the video. I'll find out here when I pull a vacuum and charge it. I'm going to soak check it. Go ahead and put our transmission cooler lines back in. You just snap those back in. You hear them snap. You put your little black clip over the top of that. Do the same thing on the driver's side.
Daddy, Mama be right here.
Jump.
Mommy, you see that import? Mommy.
Connected back up. Next thing we're going to do is go ahead and pull a vacuum on here. So we got our connectors to the high side and the low side. We got our manifold here. Got your vacuum pump here. All you do is open it up on both the high and the low side on the manifold. Just let that vacuum pump pull a nice deep vacuum, and we'll come back and check it in about 10 minutes. Alright guys, been running for about 5 minutes. We got a nice deep vacuum. Got our vacuum pump running. Sucking things down. Got the transmission line back connected. Snap that back in. Just about got everything. Transmission line on this side. Everything's clipped back in. Basically all you got to do is lean it forward just like that. Put your two 13 millimeters back in there, and you'll be in business. Once the vacuum gets done, we'll suck a can of Freon in it, and we'll leak check it. Make sure there's no leaks on the part we worked on, and charge her up. It's been about 45 minutes. Come out here, close both gauges on the manifold, shut the vacuum pump off, and we're letting it sit for about 15 minutes. Sitting just a hair less than 30 inches of vacuum. So we'll let it sit for about 15 minutes. We'll come back and we'll check it. We'll make sure it's still good, and if it's still good, we'll suck some Freon in it. Very important though. Get this can ready to go, and then you punch it, and then you're gonna tap that right there. You're just gonna bleed the air out of your line, just a little bit, not much. And then what we'll do is we're gonna suck this can in through the high side. So we'll just kind of turn it upside down, just like that. Let's see if I can get it to stay. And then we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna open the high side. You just watch that liquid. All right, got about 65 pounds. We'll go ahead and close it off, and I'm gonna just soak check these fittings down here, right there, just to make sure I don't have any leaks before we finish off putting 2 or 3 cans of Freon in there. Go ahead and soak check it with some Snoop, and I'll be back shortly. All right, sprayed some of the soapy water. You don't have to use Snoop, you can use soapy water as well. Sprayed some of that on there. I got about 70 pounds in the system right now. I don't see any leaks, so we're gonna come up here. We're just gonna keep adding. Gonna add till this can's empty. Suck it all the way down as much as it'll go. And then probably get over here, close it off, So this car actually takes it takes 0.92 kilograms, which when you convert that to pounds is right at 2 pounds, 2.02. So that's about 32 ounces of Freon. Each can here holds 12 ounces, so I'll put 2 3/4 of a can in. We'll watch the pressures until we get it just right though. So I'm gonna go ahead and put the manifold back on here, the intake manifold, and I'm gonna go ahead and get it ready to button up and crank it up. And I'm gonna go ahead and add a little Freon to the low side this time. Crack that valve open. Go ahead and we're still not done with that first can yet. I'm gonna suck it all in there. Kind of when you're doing it, you kind of just shake it left or right. Kind of want to do this on a warm day. Doesn't have to be super warm, like 75, 80, something like that. And so we're watching our pressures here. We're gonna get it to about 35 pounds or so. Guys, I do say this is not hard. You need a couple of tools. You saw what's involved. If you can borrow something like that from a buddy, borrow a set of gauges from a buddy. The dealership wanted like 900 bucks to change this out. I got about 2 hours into it. $20 worth of Freon, condenser was 65, and man, you don't break nothing else. You'll have less than 100 bucks into this if you can borrow a set of gauges and the vacuum pump here. You can get those both at Harbor Freight. They're not real expensive. If you wanted to go buy them, you'd probably be in about 200 bucks total for the job. So I'll check back with y'all here in a little bit, get it cooling, and show y'all the end result here. It's about 79 degrees. When you look at the temperature and pressure charts, you want to be between 40 and 50 on the low side and 175 and 210 on the high side. So I'm pretty close. I might add a little more. My can's pretty cold right now, so I'm having trouble getting it to flash off. May let it sit, go take the car out for a drive, and come back and check the pressures again. You just want to go ahead and you want to unscrew these gauges all the way, and you'll make sure your valves are closed here. And just grab this, kind of just pop it off. Same thing with your high side. You close your valve, which basically means you're screwing it out. You're undoing it, and then you're going to pop it off. It'll kind of have a little pressure to it. No big deal. That's pretty much it, guys. We're going to go take this for a little test drive, make sure everything's working right, and we'll get back with y'all later. We're taking the truck for a drive. We got roughly 50 degree air coming out. I've got a happy wife and some kids right now. They hadn't had air conditioner for about a week or two. They don't know how to act right now. Just a recap. Tools I use right here. Pick for the transmission line clips. 10 millimeter, 13 millimeter, couple different extensions, flathead screwdriver, magnet because I dropped a screw, hammer, air impact. I didn't really need that, but it made it a little easier. And again, gauges, 134A, and this is the vacuum pump right here, Pittsburgh 3FM 2-stage vacuum pump. You want to make sure it's got oil in it. I don't know, guys. It took me about 3 hours. Everything's all back together. Took it for a test drive. I was getting about 45-degree air out of the front vents, so it's cooling really well. Like I say, I took my time with it and started about 3:30 this afternoon, and it's 6:30 now. So very simple, very easy project. If you're, a YouTube DIY guy, you can do it. It's not hard. You just gotta take your time, make sure you do it right. And let's see, once again, I'll show y'all that part number here, the Rock Auto GPD part number. One thing you gotta watch is Rock Auto. At first condenser I got was kind of tore up, and I had to send it back, so it caused a little bit of delay in the repair. But like I say, we'll just go over it one more time. Very easy to get out. Shoot. You got your transmission line here, plug there. That's a 13 millimeter to get that off. And man, it's a super simple job. I'll probably have to do it again just because they leak and there's no fix for them. My wife's car had 100,000 miles on it when it started leaking, so if you got 100,000, you're lucky. But a very common problem on all the, I think it's 14 through 18-year models or something like that. Don't quote me on it because I really don't know. I just know my wife's is a 2015, and that was a problem, and we got it fixed. On YouTube, I keep my phone with me most of the time. If you got any questions, shoot me a message or whatever, and I'm pretty responsive. I can respond and let you know. Try to help in any way I can. If you like the video, give me a like, subscribe. I work on my car, my truck, pretty much anything that I do around the house. Try to make life easier for y'all. Have a good one, guys.